Welcome to day 636 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein, here with my twin brother Brian, and we have two special guests with us today, the guys from Zirkels, Dennis H. Lewis and Tony Lewis. How's it going, guys?
Hey, great to be here with you guys again. Yeah, doing good. How
Is
you
this
guys
like
doing?
show number 4 or something? How many times have you guys been on? It's been a lot.
I think it's number
Yeah,
four,
yeah.
yeah.
You might be
Important.
approaching the record.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
Really? Oh, good. That
I
hey,
think
I
Cyrus
want to
and
be the record holder, the Guinness World Record holder. Yes.
yeah, it's going to be a new entry in the Guinness Book of World Records starting in 2024. So just so you
Wow,
know.
cool, cool. Well, yeah, that's gonna be our photo, eh? We're gonna be there.
I think Cyrus Abraham and Mario Nawfal had or I think they're tied with like 5 or 6 appearances. I might be wrong on
Wow,
that though.
wow. Oh, okay, well,
Anyhow,
we'll beat them. Yeah, we've got lots of tricks up our sleeves for the future
okay,
stuff.
we're ready for it. So you guys have a giant new feature that you're launching today. We're going to get to that once we cover some of the news. I'm super excited about it. I know that the community is going to be super excited about it. It's not just for Zirkles, it's for all of DSO. So we're going to get to that. But let's touch on some of the news and let's start with FTX, Brian. We haven't really heard too much about FTX lately, but what's the latest?
Yeah, well, Sam Bankman-Fried's being extradited to the United States, of course, which has been in the news. But late last night, or I guess around 9 p.m. last night, it broke that there have been 2 guilty pleas in the case. And FTX co-founder and former CTO Gary Wang, as well as the former Alameda research CEO Caroline Ellison, who also happened to be SBF's former girlfriend, they've both pleaded guilty to charges related to their roles in the fraud that made up FTX. The authorities have not said which charges there were guilty pleas for, but we do know that they are now cooperating witnesses. They're cooperating with investigators and prosecutors, guessing that they're going to probably get a reduced sentence for this in order to help them build their case against Sam Bankman-Fried. Who knows what's going to come of this, but Sam Bankman-Fried is on his way to the United States, and clearly these are two big individuals that prosecutors want to have as witnesses because they know the inside workings of both Alameda and FTX.
It can't be good. I can't imagine that's being good for Sam Bankman-Fried. Two of the top witnesses have basically flipped. I think you can assume they've flipped on him. They're willing to provide their testimony, and they're both going to be pointing their fingers at him, knowing that in their testimony, they're not going to be charged with anything in addition to what they pleaded guilty for. So they're going to be able to talk, say exactly what happened without fear of, getting more criminal charges put on them. So what do you guys think?
Oh,
I think
stay away, stay away.
I think it's a massive shit show, to be honest.
Gosh,
Yeah,
crazy stuff. Yeah,
I think it's not just bad for them, it's bad for the whole industry, the entire
It really is.
shit show that we're watching and witnessing here, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's weird. How can you? I think it's indicative of something that this whole industry is really smart about some things and really stupid about others.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're really tech savvy and really business stupid. That is, that's kind of an ongoing issue that I think we need to overcome. And blockchain companies have to be companies, and they have to be solid, and they have to use accounting, and they can't just run $5 billion through QuickBooks.
Yeah, I think we've
sums
gone from, this desire to have no regulation, the early days of Bitcoin. Oh, we don't need regulation. The markets can kind of fix themselves. We don't want the regulation, to kind of like coming to the realization that we do need some regulation in order to protect the space.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
it
that
makes no sense. I mean,
I think that summed it up perfectly, that the crypto space is really tech savvy but business stupid. And I think FTX is a perfect example of that. Yeah, so let's move on to DSO and what NFTZ is doing with audio NFTs.
Yeah, so we're super excited about this. Today, NFTZ has unveiled the new audio section on our website. If you go to nftz.me/audio, you're going to see all of the audio NFTs that have been minted so far on NFTZ. You're going to see NFTs from Photography by Michelle, who has a brand new one that was just minted. Striga, who has some poetry NFT, but it's an audio poem, which is really cool. Goldberry with some really awesome music. Nifty Beats with some really cool beats. Mercury with his own beat. Dream Smile and Artbot also have some really interesting music NFTs up on the DeSo blockchain. We hope this is a start of kind of pushing forward with more music audio oriented NFTs, because I do think that has a place in the future. Also, when you click on NFTs at the top left of your browser or mobile device on NFTZ, it's going to show you the NFTs by the top creators on DeSo. So we've taken the top 20 creators and we're showing their newest NFTs. So it's kind of curated, but it's not really curated. It's just curated by the top 20 creators. But check it out because you'll find some of the really best NFTs up there, I feel.
Yeah, so Nader replied to Stargazer yesterday after there was definitely some issues happening with syncing on the blockchain. Can you tell us about that a little bit, Ed?
Yeah, so we've been talking about this for the last 2 days, where transactions from the mempool have not been pushed to the blockchain. And it seems like about 18% or so of transactions were being lost in the last 48 hours or so prior to, I guess, the end of yesterday. And Nader kept saying, it's only 0.01%, it's only 0.01%, but that's because he was using a different method to determine which transactions were being lost. He said in a reply to Stargazer, after Stargazer explained his whole system of how he discovered these transactions, he said, "Thanks, man. We're digging through this now. It's actually super clever that you've set up a listener on all the nodes across the network." He then went on to explain that up until now, DeSo was just looking at how many transactions the core nodes saw and then compared that to what was getting mined versus not getting mined. So he agreed with Stargazer that Stargazer's way was much more robust. And it seems now that the core team has truly grasped the situation and they're working to fix it if they haven't already, because I know much less transactions have been going lost since this. So I think we're in a good place now.
Yeah, and it's thanks to Stargazer for being able to point this out and actually show the evidence and the data to back up his claims that things weren't right.
And thanks to his Raspberry Pi and 300 lines of code that it required to set up this listener device.
Right. Yeah. So thank you, Stargazer. Thank you all the developers that worked to make sure Nader didn't miss this. But moving on, thanks to our unofficial intern Goldberry for pointing this one out. The DAO DeSo account has moved to @OpenFund. So now it's called @OpenFund. And this is, of course, a new name for DAO, which was voted on about a month ago or so. The DAO Discord also renamed as OpenFund. And the DAO DeSo account changed a few things. They now have the domain name openfund.com. Good domain name.
That's a good domain. I wonder how they got that.
Yeah, I'm guessing they purchased it. Be curious to know how much they paid for that, because it's actually a pretty decent domain. And openfund.com currently directs to DAO.io. But yeah, it looks like we're well on our way to rebranding DAO to OpenFund. I think this is a good move. I think it doesn't confuse the non-crypto people like DAO does. Like people are like, "What's DAO?" But OpenFund, it's the domain, the name of the platform is very. I think people can understand it. People can understand what it means.
You mean non-crypto people are probably like, "What's DAO?"
Yeah, DAO. Yeah. So moving on, High Key. They pointed out that Coinbase Ventures Twitter account put up a diagram showing all of the decentralized social networks, and it included DeSo. And Coinbase is well followed on Twitter, hundreds of thousands of followers, of course. So this was big. It was a nice little graphic. But thanks to High Key for pointing this out, and it just goes to show that I think eventually those touch points people are going to start hearing about DeSo more, and eventually it's going to lead to adoption, we hope, right?
Hopefully, and I think it's good that Coinbase Ventures is still touting DeSo. I think that's a good sign.
Absolutely.
And I finally want to congratulate the Social World. They are now officially a company. Congrats to Ado and team. They've been working super hard. They've done all the registration, and they are now legally a company. So congratulations. Eat your cake. I saw you posted a photo of your cake, Ado. It looked delicious. And I can't wait to see what 2023 has in store for you.
Yeah, one of the hardest working guys on DeSo for sure. But talking about hard working guys, Dennis and Tony, what are you rolling out? You're rolling something really important out to Zirkels today, right?
Yep. So it's actually already live, and today we are officially releasing the Zirkels editorial calendar. Now, this is going to be a feature that even if you're not a content creator on Zirkels, even if you're not into writing or into podcasting or creating videos, this may be something that may interest you, because it is probably the first, correct me guys if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first full editorial calendar that allows you to schedule not only DeSo posts, but tweets and content on Zirkels. So you can do either of those three things. And you can also use it to, as a calendar itself, to just schedule things that you want to just have as reminders for yourself. I'm going to let Dennis talk about the intricacies of the editorial calendar, but as a main call to action to get away of this video is go check it out, even if you're not a content creator, because it is an amazing tool just to, for the sake of actually posting things on DeSo or Twitter.
Yeah, and before we get you, Dennis, to explain it all, I was talking to you earlier how like we would always schedule tweets when we were back years ago before we were banned. And we found that like scheduling them for certain times, especially like late at night or super early in the morning, you'd get more engagement because there's less content being posted. So I love this. I know that there were or maybe are other schedulers out there, but I'm not sure if they still exist. Maybe somebody can reply here if I'm incorrect. But yeah, I love how this is just more. It's more than a scheduler. You basically have this whole content.
I think DeSoFi still allows you to schedule posts.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, or at least for me, this is obviously a subjective opinion, but doing it from your phone or content planning on your phone is not ideal. I like working on my computer, on my desktop. So being able to do that from your desk is pretty cool, and it works pretty smoothly. But yeah, Dennis, do you want to get into content templates and?
Yeah, well, more than that, one of the reason we built this on Zirkels is because, anybody who wants to grow an audience, and our mission is to empower creators to actually get to the point, where they're earning significant, sustainable income with their content. You need more than just great content. You need a system. You need to be consistent. You need to be promoting your content. When you publish a piece of content, you need to be tweeting about it, and you need to be posting about it on DeSo, and you need to have, reminders and, going out a few days later or a few weeks later, or where, however you want to structure your content system. But until now, there wasn't really a way you had to do it all by hand. And what usually happens when you, at least for me, when you have to do something all by hand, is that you forget to do it and things drop through the cracks. And so what we decided to do was build a system so you can plan out and execute an entire content marketing campaign all from one calendar at one time. And you can, for now, you can do Zirkels articles, you can do DeSo posts, you can do tweets. There's more coming in the future, so I'm just going to let that hang out there. There's going to be more things you can put on your calendar soon. But we also wanted to help people start planning that content. How do you, where do you brainstorm your next articles? Where do you keep track of the ideas you have for DeSo posts or for tweets that you want to do in the future? You can put that into the content planning part of this tool that we've built. And then we've added some kind of really nifty advanced things where you can actually, have your own publishing plan where you say, every time I publish an article, I'm going to want to do, I want to do a day before, I want to do a tweet, and I want to do a DSO post. And 2 days later, I want to do another tweet and another DSO post. And, 5 days later, I want to do, whatever it is, I want to release a press release, whatever you decide to put on your calendar. And then you can have it automatically create those pieces on the calendar. And all you have to do is go in and fill them in and schedule them, and they go out.
Very
So
cool. That's
it
really,
gives you a really, Tony and I, we come from a marketing background, and especially a content marketing background. So, we understand that, it's not just write an awesome article and throw it out there and cross your fingers and light a candle and hope that it works. You've got to have a system.
Right. Well,
and so that's what we're trying to build with Zirkels here.
So before, like years before DSO, Ed and I, we ran a media company, hillreporter.com, and like totally get what you're saying. Like you have all these articles ready to go. You have writers who are writing articles, and once you submit an article, you want to time it out right. You want to post it at exactly the right time for ideal traffic. But then after you post it, like you said, you want to tweet it out. You might want to tweet it twice, maybe once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And scheduling all this, it really is like a lifesaver, especially when you're dealing with multiple articles a day and trying to get traffic, getting the ideal levels of traffic. So I totally know what you're talking about here, and it's really important.
And yeah, and by the way, it's just cool to see all of your stuff. You're going to be able, people on Zirkels are going to be able to go in later today, and they'll see all of their articles that were already published. They'll be able to see them now on the calendar as well. So, you can get a feel for, am I being consistent? Am I, it's just not, you can't build a business if you post an article, one Monday and then 3 weeks later, another Thursday. And, that just won't cut it. It won't, that won't build that momentum that you need. And so, we hope that this calendar function and the tools we're building will really empower creators to up their game and to put into place a system where they're, where they can actually grow that audience and get that, that income coming in from diamonds, from Zirkels rewards, from, from all the different places that it could come from.
Yeah,
love it.
That's
I love
amazing. So obviously you guys are working on a lot of stuff at Zirkels. It seems like every few weeks you roll something else out. Like what does your roadmap look like for the start of next year? Yeah,
well, lots of cool stuff. I mean, obviously this calendar opens the door to doing more stuff. So, a lot of people are on LinkedIn. Maybe that would be something that might show up soon. We're also thinking about ways of letting you actually, through Zirkels, email your blog subscribers directly. So you don't need an autoresponder to do that. You won't need that. There's some cool stuff coming down the road. And also for larger blogs that have multiple users, we want to think about, multiple authors writing for them. Well, how do we leverage so that they're all tweeting? Because, you want everybody to be tweeting your content as well. So,
I really feel like what you guys are doing can be a really powerful tool for bringing eyeballs to DSO. And like Ash talks about these touch points, like there's no better touch points than writing articles, sharing them throughout all of Web2 social media, and then having people land on Zirkels, which is a DSO application. So like it's a perfect backdoor to DSO, I feel. And you guys are trying to set things up so that Zirkels becomes this like all-encompassing publishing platform for when DSO really blows up, which hopefully is going to be next year.
Yeah, it's got to be next year. I'm counting on it, man.
Yeah, so anything else before we get on to the end of the show and some of the NFT stuff?
No, I think just anybody who's interested, just reach out, let us know. There is one, we have opened the calendar to everybody, even the free users. There is a limitation that if you're not a blogger on Zirkels, and it's really cheap to get to be one, You only can schedule 24 hours into the future, but that's kind of give you a feel of it. But if that's something you want to use, then even if you're just using it to schedule DSO posts, just get the cheapest $10 a month account on Zirkels, and you can schedule your heart out. You can have a year's worth of content, pre-programmed out on your DSO feed forever.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I think
All right,
that
so let's move. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say, I think the last time we were on your show, guys, we said that Zirkels was gonna get featured in December on a really cool place. I think Dennis and I were talking about pushing it back a few weeks, mainly because people are highly concentrated on the holidays right now, and we want to get the most amount of eyeballs as we possibly can. But early next year, hopefully we can put out a somewhat of a public roadmap for Zirkels, and I think people are going to be happy about where we're going to be showcasing Zirkels.
I can't wait to see it. That's exciting. I'm sure the community is going to love that as well. So let's move on. As many of you know, nftz.me is the only place where you can post and view live time DSO NFT auctions. Just go to nftz.me/auction, and you see all the auctions that are ending soon, ending in the next 24 hours. I just want to highlight a few that are. Chibi Thulhu, and I might be saying that wrong, has his special Santa Chibi Thulhu NFT up for auction that ends at 12 p.m. Eastern time today. Swaps number 47 is up for auction, and this is a really interesting one. It's just a gray outline of a swap, and this one ends at 3 p.m. Eastern time today. Swap Dwarf Monsters, they have number 170 that's up for auction, and the top bid's at about 0.3 DSO, I believe. And that one is at 3 p.m. Eastern time as well. And Hippie Kitties number 11 ends today at around 2:40 p.m. Eastern time or so.
Yeah, and quick, we want to get the top NFT bidders on the DSO blockchain in the last day, according to NFTZ, and they are as follows: Meta Philosopher, Mir Killy, Shady Acres, Crypto Junkie, Studio Richards, Indosat, Jay Vega, Mr. Music, Mobatoro, and Toto. And the top diamonded creators over the last 24 hours, thanks to our friends at Altenbase for this list. These people received the most diamonds or tips on their DSO posts and replies over the last day. Pixel Angelo was in the lead, followed by Brutal, Rhubarb, Tobias Schmid, Elric Ericos, Skin Lover, Clout Women Unite, Shady Acres, Striga, and Vindictive TJ.
Yeah, and congratulations to all of you. And everybody take a look at this list of DSO events taking place today. Once again, thanks to Ms. Katie Ann. And everybody have a great rest of your day. And thank you to Dennis and Tony for coming on our show. And congratulations for the new features that Zirkels is bringing to the community.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
See everybody tomorrow.